Hi, this is Frank Taylor with Nature at Your Door, and I'm not at home in the Appalachian Mountains. I'm actually here in Switzerland, where my roots are. My mother was a native of Switzerland, and while I was born in the U.S., becoming an American citizen, I actually grew up speaking Italian and English as a second language. Today's episode was filmed on September 22nd, 2022, and begins in this charming alpine village of Saas-fee in the canton of Valais. This episode is about a unique, challenging, and adrenaline-pumping way to see and experience and, yes, observe the panorama and natural beauty and geology of the magnificent Swiss Alps. Nature is really at your door here. The Alps are a result of tectonic plates crashing and uplifting these mountains, and these mountains again have been reshaped by wind, rain, erosion, and glaciers. Today, I'm also sharing with you one of my greatest passions, and that is of mountaineering. I actually started climbing in 2008 as an event for my 50th birthday, where I went to Switzerland and took rock climbing classes, ice climbing classes, crevasse rescue classes. Now I've reached some of the highest and most iconic peaks in a number of different countries around the world, including Africa, New Zealand, the United States, Italy, France, and of course, my favorite, Switzerland. I'm now 65 years old, and I invited some young friends to accompany me on this trip. I find that most of the other kids my age don't want to come and play with me, so I invited some of these younger folks. Macy came down from London, and Julian, a former student of mine, came here all the way from Atlanta. My wife is always happy knowing I'm not going solo anymore, which is, by the way, something no one should do and is never recommended. Our goal today was to reach the 10,000 some foot summit of this mountain known as the Mittaghorn, overlooking Saas-fee and flanked by more than a dozen 4,000 meter or 13,000 foot plus peaks. We took the Alpen Express cable gondola lift to the first station from the village of Saas-fee at 5,900 feet and arrived at our starting point at 8,300 feet at the Morena station. Reaching the summit of the Mittaghorn requires several thousand feet of vertical climbing, and on the return, we're required to go all the way back down to the village on the opposite side of the mountain, so our descent goes almost 5,000 vertical feet. To undertake such climbing requires a high degree of fitness, some upper body strength, sure-footedness, and most importantly, a head for heights. There are some very exposed sections on this trail. And when climbers first started telling me about exposure, I didn't understand what it was until I got there. On the first part of this trail, we follow a path across the glacial moraines, meltwater streams, and some avalanche results and rock and rubble. Our first vertical begins on the Via Ferrata, just below the flag marker. Via Ferrata is Italian for iron way. In German, it's called a Klettersteig. These Via Ferratas and ironways, many of them date back to the 19th century, but most were built and used during the World Wars to move troops and weapons secretly through Italy, through higher elevations and terrain such as the Italian Dolomites. Today, there are many Via Ferratas, or Klettersteigs, throughout Switzerland, and in fact, much of Europe that has Alps. They've been created mainly for recreation. Those ironways include metal rungs with wire cables and ladders, and sometimes bridges with widely spaced wood footing, or even a single wire for your feet and one wire to hold in each hand. To do a Via Ferrata, you should have a climbing harness, a climbing helmet, and a Via Ferrata apparatus. The Via Ferrata apparatus attaches to your climbing harness with a loop and is made up of two shock-absorbing lanyards with self-locking carabiners on the end. You should wear sturdy and grippy heavy boots or shoes, and gloves really do well on this too. As you proceed up the Via Ferrata, you always stay clipped into the iron cable. You always want to have one of your clips on that cable. When you ascend the Via Ferrata and you're clipped onto the cable with both carabiners, you proceed up and kind of drag them along with you. You're scrambling up the mountain, up rocks, doing some rock climbing, sometimes holding onto the cable itself because there appears to be nothing else to hang on to. You're always sliding those carabiners up with you until you get to a steel anchor in the rock. Here, you'll unclip one carabiner and put it on the upside of that anchor, and then move the second carabiner carefully above the next one. In this way, you're always clipped in. Never, never have two carabiners unclipped. While clipping into the cable, wearing the climbing harness with the Via Ferrata attached provides some protection. Doesn't really protect you from falling, but you won't fall off the mountain itself. You can only fall as far as the next steel anchor below you. This is a fantastic way to experience the thrill of the mountains, the thrill of rock climbing, and go only places you might be able to go with an experienced rock climber and guides on belay. We continued moving up the mountain, focusing on the rocks and safety, and pausing it to take in the incredible panorama around us. Many of the Swiss peaks are designated by a cross, and this one was no exception. While enjoying the summit, we took our obligatory summit photos and selfies. I had taught at Radford High School for over 30 years, and I always display a Radford Bobcat flag at the summits I achieve. During the long, steep descent, about 5 miles with about 5,000 feet of vertical descent, we ran into the iconic mountain goats of Switzerland. These wild goats are symbols of the high alpine meadows in the Alps, are known as Ibex or Steinbach. Their scientific name is Capra ibex. They were on the edge of extinction at the end of the 19th century, with perhaps only 100 individuals left in the French and Italian Alps. Regulation of hunting and creating of national parks to preserve their habitat and protect the species, they have rebounded. And we're so lucky to see these guys here today. They were really impressive looking and made us look like we're fumbling around on the rocks. They are so skilled and comfortable in moving across the steepest slopes. I hope you enjoyed this impromptu episode of Nature at Your Door. I wasn't actually planning to do this, so I didn't always have my camera on panorama, but when I got back here, I just really wanted to share with my viewers my passion for the mountains and an exciting way to travel. Don't forget, I have over 200 videos of all things nature, from fungi to wildflowers, amphibians to reptiles, insects and trees. I cover it all. Remember, if you like what I do, please subscribe to my channel, give me a like, and check out my playlist and see if there's not something there that you might find interesting that you'd like to learn more about. So thanks again for watching this episode of Nature at Your Door, and I have more episodes on the natural history of Switzerland and climbing in Switzerland coming up soon.